Hello there guys, and welcome back to another live stream. My name's Mike, aka Decimal Punt, and we are in the Unreal Engine 5.7.4. Those of you that have been, following the most recent stream, I was modelling some assets for a new game I'm going to be making. This isn't related to university, this is something me and a friend are making. I modelled some assets earlier. We've got those open in Blender. So we'll be... Why are they not showing? There we go. We'll be exporting these assets and we'll be bringing those into Unreal. So we've got a first person template here. I've set the scalability to like low. So what is this? Non-default scalability settings could be affecting what's shown in the viewport. Yeah, so I've put it on low just because Unreal always just seems to, like, performance wise, I don't know, it's a bit of a beast. So we've got first person project. So the game I'm going to be developing is basically like a simulation game, a tidying up simulation game. So I've just got a first person template project, as that will be the perspective for the game. What I have is I've got the very first game I made over here. And I'm gonna be needing this one. So basically right, sorry. Yeah, so basically the reason I'm in this project is because we want to look at the first person character blueprint. So I'm basically looking at the code to do with picking up objects, which is up the top here. Welcome to the stream, guys. You can see we've got 4 people. Right, so when the player presses left mouse, light and trace is cast in front of them for the camera. If the actor is the relic, and it's picked up. So basically this is if the player presses the left mouse, if they're looking at something and they press left mouse and it's the relic, they pick it up. So what we need to do is we need to do the line trace. I do have another project, so I've got Blender open as well as 3 Unreal projects. The reason why I've got 3 open, I'm just going to set the scalability of this one down to low. We don't need it on high detail. So this one was to do with, it's like a first person project. So you can see there's a yellow outline on this dude. So what we want to do, this yellow outline, this is why I've got this project open. We're going to be taking the highlight option here that I've coded, and we're going to be putting that into the new project. So I think the first thing we should do is in the Organiser game. God, that is a load of shite, isn't it? What we're going to do is I'm just going to put all of this crap into a new folder called default items. Okay, so we can just hide that. And then if we go into the project, so this is the core. So I'm going to make a new folder and call this assets. So the idea is I'm going to import my Blender assets, and then we'll put some into the scene, and then we'll get the highlighting working on the objects, and then something else as well. Sorry, my mind's, I've got like different projects open. Right, so we need to go into Blender. What we'll do is, I'm gonna need, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make a Blender export folder, and we'll call this assets organizer game. Right, so select that item. Was that your RTS project? Yes, this one is the RTS. I think you were watching me do this one, Binary. I've got the mouse movement working. Click on the person, you right click and they move to where you want them to go. But the reason why I've got this project open is because I want to access the blueprint where I've got this outline, because we're going to use that outline for the assets I've modeled. So when the player's walking around and they look at the props, they highlight so it's clear what item they're focusing. That's why I've got that project open. I need to remember there we go. Set overlay material. And then that's how you do it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to export our assets from Blender. So we'll do the green pencil, export FBX, asset game organizer. So it's copy, click the box, selected objects. I think it was face. Welcome to stream, RP. Oh, that's annoying. Why has it got the name of that? Why is it not? How annoying. Oh, I'll just copy that name. So, copy, click the box, selected objects. Face. Right, now we go into Organiser. Just wondering the best structure for this. So I've got the folder for assets, which will have audio, 2D art. I'll just have it as static mesh. I'll have this as props or interactables, because those are the things that the player will pick up to bring in. Thank you for the welcome back, RP. Nice, well done. Congrats on the beating the bosses. Fruity Loot Studio. I have not used that in ages, dude. Good software, that. Here we go. Right, there's a tick box. We do not want to recompute the normals. We want to tick that off. I should be able to import that, and that should... And there's my pencil I made, guys. So you'll notice that the material isn't reflective. It's a little bit of a pain in the arse, even though in Blender you can see it does have a shine to it. I don't know if it's the import settings, but it always, oh fucking hell, it always seems to kind of just take off that shine. So if we just go into what I'm going to do, right, so we can see the options here. So for the pencil, if we get the lead, you can see it's 0.2 metallic, 0.3 roughness. So what was that for? Lead. 0.2, 0.3. Material instance. That seems different. I wonder why it's done it. I wonder why it's you normally get that's strange. Normally they come in just as materials. I'll tell you what. I don't want to fuck around with that, but it's something to just how strange. Right, let's bring in the others. Have you not used Unreal before, RP? Import as materials. Import as materials. Not as material instances. How strange. That's very peculiar, isn't it? It's importing as material instances. Like I say, we can fix the shininess and things. It's just strange how it's making it as a material instance. Well, because I can't... When you've got the material, you get the material graph. And with the material graph, you can do nodes and have much more control as opposed to just this. So I need to look into that. So it shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, but the parent material's not here. Like, surely that should be appearing on here. When I've imported assets before in projects, it's been, you know, as a material, not a material instance. And the import settings, where's the parent? Oh, fuck me. Yeah, this is some default shit. Do you know what I mean? That's taking in... That's doing the same shit for everything. It looks like it's some default thing from Unreal, because this is why I'm bringing in the assets. All these items here, I'm dragging and dropping from my computer. So it's almost like a system default. It's fine. Like I say, I'll just, the purpose of this stream is to bring in the assets I've modelled, to get the highlight feature working, and to get the picking up and hopefully the rotation whilst picking up. That's the objective for this evening's stream. I'm just, it's not a biggie. The only reason I want to have the material, not this as an instance, is so that I can actually like have the shininess, because at the moment they're all taking that shit from the default parent. Right there, look, materials FBX legacy. Legacy normally implies kind of outdated. It's fine, it's not a major problem. I can fix that off stream. The first job is just to get all of these in. I don't want to do a batch export because I want all of these to be labelled correctly. I'd rather just take the extra time, be methodical and make sure there's no problems. Okay, so we've got all the pencils in. So we can turn that one off onto the pencil cases. I fixed the faces, guys. I don't know if you saw at the end of the stream, but we had little red triangles down the side here. So I basically fixed that after the stream ended. So it's all good now. It looks good, doesn't it? I'm really happy with how that's turned out. It's a good looking pencil case. One more pencil case, my favourite colour. Right, that's the pencil cases in. You know what I might do? I might just... Looks good. Obviously it's got a very, can you see that edge is quite rough and jagged? That's because I've got the scalability option on the, when I made the project, just so that it doesn't, it's a low poly game, it doesn't need to be super fucking high detail. So the idea is I'll be able to develop, you know, in this just low poly, like low detail, without it just eating into my rig. I've got a beast of a rig, but even if I'm making a low detail game, my fans always just go batshit crazy. So it's something I'd like to look into. I've been meaning to do it for a while, just a bit of research into, you know, the options, because there's a lot of stuff in Unreal. If you're making a AAA game and shit, you know, you get all the fancy features that you need, but for a low poly game, you don't really need that. It is super fucking high detail, bro. Not sure, RP, regarding smooth shading. Can you use Shift R to repeat the export? I would rather not. Right, so we've got the 5 scissors in, so I'll just export 5 at a time. We've only got 10 more to do. I mean, it would be good if I could export operator presets. But the thing is, like, I want to import them as individual assets. I don't want to select all and then export them as, you know... I mean, potentially, if I selected staplers and exported, I think that would do them as individual objects. But I don't want to risk it. I'd rather just keep it individual. I'd rather be safe than make a fuck up. Won't take me long, guys. I mean, it would be handy if you could do the repeat command for a batch export or export. But yeah, I think that's only for in-engine. Let's just bring that up. What did I just export? Was it staplers? Yeah. Staplers. There we go. Fuck me, that is very black. I'm super happy with that stapler. Took a little while, that one, but it's worth it. L'Oreal. Okay. Right, staplers can be turned off. Paper clips. I kind of need my mate that's doing this game with me. I need him to do some modelling. He's very quick, very, very fast. But he'll be getting on the modelling September, I think. So I like being deep in Unreal. Just getting all like the UI done, functionality, getting deep in the blueprints, getting the thick of it. I love it. Problem solving, bug fixing, you name it. I'm all over that. It's like a challenge, especially if you've got a hard bug. You just pull your hair out at times, but when you fix a bug, it's just, there's no other feeling like it. Right, we can close Blender now. And these were the paper clips. 5 paper clips. Okay. We have all of our assets that we modelled earlier are now in. Okay. So right. So the first thing we want to do is what we want to do is we want to filter this by static mesh. So I should have 25 items. Yeah. And what we're going to do, just trying to think. We need to go into each one, and it's essentially it's on collision. Here we go. So if we show Right, okay. This is what we need, right? Okay. So this is important. Can you see? Ugh! Right, so this green bounce, what you see there is simple collision. Right? It's simple collision, guys. Okay. Now, if we were to leave that static mesh like that, then if there was a stack of objects and things, then you can see, like, if this part of this collision hit another object, it wouldn't visually look like it made sense because, well, there's a gap here from the end of the paperclip to this bit. Now watch this. As I change it to complex, you're going to see the shape of the collision. Can you see that? The cyan. Can you see the difference there? How much more accurate that is, the complex collision. So we're going to have complex collision for all of our static meshes. And there is a box somewhere. Customized collision. Okay, so use complex collision as simple. Just check that. Okay. I think there is an option on the import to set the complexity. So for future models, I'm certain there is a box on there when you import the static meshes. So for future imports, I'll just make sure I double check that. So I'll just quickly go through and make sure these all have complex collision. Thought I just did yellow. I did. Why is my cursor jabbing out? What the fuck? What is going on? Why was it jabbing out? Fuck's sake, what is it doing? I don't know why the fucking cursor's jabbing. Oh my god, dude. That's really fucking annoying. That's the one we just did, wasn't it? The yellow, yep. Next up is the scissors. Don't be a bastard, stop it. That's pissing me off now. Almost done, guys. This would have been so much easier if I'd have done this on the import settings. Lesson learned. Luckily it's only 25 assets and not a shit ton. Two more. Last one. Okay, the complex collision has been set on those objects. Right, so that's that bit done. We have two other projects. This one's to do with picking up, this one's to do with highlighting an object. Let me just have a look at the code for this one. That's the thing, hopping between Blender and Unreal, like the hotkeys are different. I frequently find myself pressing hotkey shortcuts that are Blender related. So we want a line trace when the player is basically looking at something. So it highlights the object. So that's to do with picking and dropping out. So when it's pressed, so we basically want a line trace when the player is just kind of always walking around. Okay. All right, so right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the, you know what I might do, guys? I might actually bring this project onto my second monitor so I can see the code. Right. So we're gonna go into let's make a new folder, call this blueprints. Okay. So we're in the blueprint for the first person character. As we're looking around, if we're looking at something, we want to basically be doing a line trace. So I'm just going to have an on tick. Now, I will look into the optimized way of doing this, because this happens every frame, have an event tick. So we're going to do line trace by channel. No, not multi. And then what we want to do is drag in the first person camera. And we're going to want to get world location. And then we're going to get world rotation. And then the outputs from this, the vectors going to the start. And then what we're going to do, sorry guys, YouTube's adverts are coming up. Bear with me. Premium. Enjoy ad-free videos. Fucking YouTube. Sorry. I'm not paying for YouTube subscription just to get rid of the ads. It's really annoying that they've got like ad blocker detectors now. Right, we're going to get the forward vector from the world rotation. And then from that we are going to multiply, or times, multiply. To float 200. And then just move this along. And then we are going to add that, and then the output goes into the end. Okay, so every frame we're going to be doing a line trace from the player camera. And the trace visibility, trace channel, draw, debug time. I'm sure there was an option, trace complex, there we go. True to test against complex collision. So we want it to be true, that way we will be we'll be able to line trace against the object static meshes we've just set with complex collision. So we're going to tick true on that. And then we're going to do an if. And the return value has to be that. So if that's true, what we need to do is right, so off of the out here, we're going to do a break hit result. and we're going to want to get a hit actor, and we're going to make some blueprints for the game objects that we've just done, so need to be actors. So bear with me. So it was the overlay material. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. So basically on the other project, I've got code that does another branch. If the component has a tag, then we highlight it. But just for the purpose of testing, we're just gonna check that we can line trace, and then when we look at something, it changes the highlight. But then what we also need to do is have it so if the player then moves away from it and stops looking at it, the highlight disappears. So bear with me. If we just quickly make the material, let's go to new folder called materials. I'm just going to bring this one over to my other window. Okay. So this is going to be material. I'll call this M for material underscore highlight. Open that up. And this needs to be surface, masked, unlit, two-sided. I think those were the only things we needed to do on that. And then I'll do two-sided sign. I think it's called scalar parameter. Wait, what is that? One minus. Hold on. And that goes into the opacity mask. And then we're gonna need a scalar parameter. This will be called thickness, and default value will be 1. And then we're gonna do vertex normal WS. And we're gonna multiply. And this goes into the world position offset. I can never remember what. There's a button to push. Constant free vector. There we go. And I'm just going to copy the hex code. Right, so we've got a yellow outline there, and then the output from that goes into the emissive color. Apply, save. So you can see at the moment it's just like opaque looking. That should be it for the highlight material. So now go back to no, that one. Okay. And then now that we've got that done, we hit actor set. Hold on. Set overlay material. Mesh. We'll leave that like that, and then when we go into the static mesh, no, because that's going to set. That's not going to work. Can't plug that one into that. Don't think that is going to work, but so we get a class for the actor. May not work, but we'll see. Okay, so now what I need to do is if we run around, there we go. So you can see the line trace there. So this is me running around with line trace, looking at stuff. We're going to have to extend that to, say, 300. That's the distance to line trace to. So you can see it's not going that far. So I'm going to put that to 500. Okay, so we know line trace is working. So now what we need to do is go into blueprints here and if we start with the paperclip, because that's like the out of all of the other objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. P. Alright, so paperclip beige. Now I know there is the group project I did earlier this year. You can have a parent blueprint, and then you can have children of that blueprint. So they will inherit stuff from the parent. But just for the sake of getting the functionality up, we're just going to go ahead and create this blueprint. So we'll call this paperclip beige. Open that up, and then we're going to go into our paperclip beige static mesh, and we're going to drop that on there. And there it is. So now, if we turn on snapping there, what's a VTuber, dude? Well, there they are. Okay. And we're not going to need... Ah, right. Nice. Yeah, I know what you're on about. I'm just going to open up my other project quickly. Oh no! Oh no! We're setting the whole fucking scene yellow. Oh my god. Oh my god, dudes. Right, we want to have another branch. We set the whole scene yellow. Oh god. Where are they? I might have not picked the best the best fucking object here. Trace channel visibility. Visibility. Right. Should work now. Primitive component. Bear with me, guys. I'm just in my other project at the moment. Do the line trace. We know it was working without that bit because when I was doing this on the environment, it changed it. But we need to set the overlay. We need to do that. Overlay. We're allowing the line trace visibility to overlap. We basically need to communicate to that. Because we don't want to we basically need to communicate to the hit actor, and then within here we can set the overlay. So when the paperclip is hit, so we're doing a line trace. We know that on the component, we know that that works with the entire environment. So if the paperclip's hit, actor hit by the trace. I've not done it this way before. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit stumped. Just bear with me. I know that's working. I know that it does set the material because we had it. I'll tell you what, let's do a debug. How fucking annoying. Good idea. It's not registering. Like, the static mesh child. Generate overlap events. I'm allowing a trace response visibility. Oh! So, because I... Fucking idiot. Sorry for the language. Right, so because I clicked the overlap, I think it meant it was just passing right through it. You see that? Watch. We're now getting a green and the, yeah. Okay. Right, we know that's working now. So now that that's working... There we go. Right, so the item's getting highlighted. Great. What I might do, I might change the highlight colour to a cyan. Okay, right, so that's great. We've got it setting the trace. But what we need to do, basically this is setting the material, the hit component. But see, this is what we need to do. We need to communicate to this blueprint and say, okay, it's been here. This has been here, but we need to get the static mesh and set the overlay material so that, because at the moment the whole bloody thing is getting changed from that to the overlay, and what we need is the actual highlight around that item. So in here, if hit, set static mesh, basically. Not sure if this will work. Or maybe overlap. Right, okay. Love a little bit of a challenge. See, I've done traces before where if the player is looking at something and presses E, it will highlight it. But what we're trying to do here is we're trying to just have it automate in the sense that if the player's just looking around and their line trace catches an item that can be interacted with, the overlay of the static mesh highlights. That's what we want to happen. What does from sweep? What does the from sweep? I don't know if a line trace would count as an overlap because we haven't got... It's like we want to know if it's been hit by a line trace. So it is the on hit. And it is a blocking hit. It's not registering on component. If the page is hit, we know this logic is working. Event calls when a component hits or is hit by something solid. Mate. I'm not sure if that's the right... Hmm. We need to say, has this blocked a trace, basically. That's what we need to do. It can't be this difficult. Blocking might be for physical objects. But we know that's working because in here, the line trace, hit the component, and we can't do it by the main actor. We need to specifically target this so we can set the overlay material. Unless... Let's just see if this works. Right, so we've disconnected the other logic there. This is just to check if we hit an actor, just to check that that's registering. Yes, it is. Okay, good. Alright, so on that basis, I'm going to try this. This is so fucking frustrating, dude. Alright, hold on. The problem is... that we're going to have so many different actors in the game. There is going to be a lot of props. So it's just going to be mental. I know that I need to look at the group project because there's basically, I can have a parent class and then make these individual objects children of that, which inherit it. So technically there would only be one instance where the object's getting highlighted. So I guess you're right, just for the purpose of testing that we can set the overlay on, and because we've just got the one prop. Oh, you shitbag. Why did that not work? Why the fuck did that not work? Hold on a minute, because I'm not sure why that's not... Oh, I forgot the breakpoint thing, dude. What, wasn't it F9 or something? That highlight... Yeah, but the thing is, this should be set in the the material. But it's not doing it. It does it from here. We know that in here. This is so fucking annoying, dude. It's like gone 5 in the morning as well. Right, you were saying about making a base. So if I had this as but it's not physically changing the mesh. As that blueprint, we're calling the custom event highlight. And that shitter What a fucking bastard. Look, I'm getting the debug come up there. Why no highlight? Yeah, but it's not physically showing. I'll make it larger. There shouldn't be. You... No, it's the exact same. It's the exact same as it's the same code I had. The WPO offset looks sus. Oh, ignore the 50. That's meant to be 1. Yeah, no, I put 50 because, well, like on the other project, do you remember the top-down RTS that I was playing around with? It highlights the mesh. I know that that code is working. I've literally mirrored the code. So that code should be working. Try opacity 1. Where's that, sorry? Nope. I'll tell you what, let's just try something. Let's just try something. I've got a... I think I know what. This is just a test. Right, you can see our model, right? I can't physically see the outline on this character. Oh, this is doing my nut in. This logic works for the other game. That's the annoying thing. I don't think I need to change anything in here. I know that code works. Why is it not highlighting my model? Let me just try something here. Right, so it's not... You see in there, I've just set it. Interesting. Put a material you know works for a second. I don't think there's anything wrong with my model. I remember having an issue when I made my very first game. Let me show you. This is the very first game I made. There's wood that you can pick up. You see that? You see that's highlighting. That's based off of an overlap. That's based on the player entering a spherical collision, but we don't want that. We want line trace to do that for us. And I remember when I was doing this, highlighting feature, there were different asset packs. And I remember the majority of the assets I had, this material overlay was working, but it didn't work on certain assets. So I'm wondering if it's something to do with the asset itself. Let's go into the static mesh. Sorry about this, guys. There's a bit of problem solving here. Are the normals inverted? No, they shouldn't be. Why the... what the...
With YouTube Music Premium, listen to ad-free
Fucking YouTube adverts. Sorry, guys. Shitty YouTube. The lighting on them looks odd. I mean, that looks correct, doesn't it? Hey, long arm. So the question is, why is the material I'm gonna the annoying thing is, we know that we can change the colour of the paperclip, so we know that the material is kind of working to a degree. I'm going to put simple and complex and see if that makes a difference. I don't know if it will. No. This is like a core thing that I need. Like, we need these items highlighted. Yeah. So fucking annoying, dude. It's so fucking annoying. That's what you wanted me to do, right? Oh, mate. Let's have a look. The scale's 111. Can you see any problems then as to why this might not be working? There's usually a scene scale that can be set to 0.01 to work better in the engine. Might be throwing your WPO off. Do you know where I would find that scene scale then? But I'm in the scene here. Scene unit scale. Alright, I'm listening. That doesn't make sense though, dude, because then that's gonna be fucking enormous in here. Like we can already see. That's me scaling the object up. That doesn't seem the right way though. Like there's got to be an explanation as to why the highlight material's not working. Let me have a look in. Surface masked unlit. There has to be an explanation for it. Let me just check these static meshes because right, let me just test something. I just can't. Like this logic, this code in the material is the same. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, I feel like I've come to a brick wall. I'm tired. Oh. So annoying. So annoying. Oh wait, sorry. Hold on. Yeah, it's not working, dude. Look, overlay material. It's not even doesn't make sense, does it? Enable nanite support. Shall I turn it off? Right, I've turned that off. What's really annoying this exact same logic in the material was used in the RTS, and we saw that the character was getting highlighted. So the logic for this outline does work. It's just, why the fuck is it not working on my mesh? What's wrong with my mesh? Why is it? There has to be some explanation. Maybe it's an option in here. maybe it's an option in the static mesh itself. I feel like I'm gonna go mad trying to find out the reason for this. Thank you, Long Arm. It's really frustrating, dude, because it's like such a common feature in so many games. You look at an item, it highlights to indicate you can interact with it. And I need this basic fucking functionality. Yeah, it's got to be a setting on the static mesh, surely. I thought I turned that off. Yeah, so basically where it's doing the line cast from the camera. So if the player is directly looking at the object, it highlights. That's the idea with that. Hold on. Setting the overlay in the blueprint editor doesn't work for me until I look at it in the level viewport, but not running. So hold on a minute. You're saying... So you're saying if I yeah, see, it's still not showing. Oh, you bastard. I'm going to ask AI if it might know. IG, you could use a dynamic material instead. Welcome to the stream, Desi. What does IG mean? You could use a dynamic material instead. Are you able to talk me through that, please? I've not done a dynamic material. I mean, this highlight feature, it does work in the other projects I've done. This is the annoying thing, so I don't know, like, what we need to happen. We need to retain this this material, but if the player looks at it, it has a faint outline. That's the whole thing. And this does work on my other projects. I just don't know. I don't know if it's... I'm just a bit puzzled, really. So a dynamic material. Would that dynamic material allow the outline as well? So binary, were you saying that in your Unreal, you created the outline material and you were able to see it within the viewport, but not in the game when simulating? Is the logic for your material the same as mine? Is it the same as that? Or is it different in any way? Let's see if additive works. Let's just give it a go. Nope. So how would I do the dynamic material, Desi? So, the problem. One problem I had when I imported my assets is that normally in the past when I've imported assets, I've worked with a lot of assets from Blender, so just FBXs with, you know, the materials that are made in Blender. And in the past, when I've imported them into Project, they've always been material, but for some reason, all of these materials are just material instance. And their parent looks like a system material within Unreal. So I'm just trying to understand read through your comments. So add a parameter value. So look, the texture color of the paperclip to the overlay color. And that logic would be put into like a material graph, right? Has proper UVs. I can show you it in Blender. Right, hold on guys, one sec. I just need to... Bear with me guys. Right, sorry, let me read. No UV. So you think it's the UVs then? Okay. Okay, so now that I've done that, if I re-export the model, and see if that works, export this again and re-import to Unreal. Okay. Okay, so that's paperclip beige. This is so fucking annoying, dude. So fucking annoying. Um... I mean, with the UVs unwrapped, when I export that model, Yeah, I'm at a loss. I think I'm going to have to look into this off stream because I feel like I'm going to pull my hair out. I just want to, it's like, it's the most important feature of this game, like, and it's such a bloody common thing as well, like, it's just annoying that it works in other projects on different assets that I've not made. So I'm wondering if it is something to do with the model. I need to look into it. I think I'm gonna have to call the stream there though, guys, because I am tired. I think I did it was either 3 or 3.5 hours earlier modelling, and then I had a break, and then I've come back. We've got the project set up. We've imported all of the assets that have been modelled. Just need to figure out why it's been a bastard and why it's not doing a simple bloody highlight. Yeah, I need to look into it, Binary. I appreciate the help though, guys, from Desi and Binary, just trying to problem solve. I'll look into this off stream and try and figure out why the fuck it's not working. I know that logic in the material, the highlight material works. I know that. I just don't know why it's not working with this. Let me just quickly show you guys. I know some of you have probably already seen this, but if I open up the RTS project that I've started, you can see the exact same logic as the highlight material, right? So here it is, exact same logic. Right, you click on the dude and he's highlighted. You see? He's literally highlighted. The logic works, it's just not working on the fucking model. Yeah, I'll look into it though, guys, off stream. I'll try and get to the bottom of it, and once that's been figured out, I will be able to get the picking up the objects. I've already got the logic for picking up the objects in my other project, so I just want to get this highlight tackled, and then we can get the picking up, rotating, interacting, dropping, la-da-da, and we'll go from there. Thank you everyone for joining the stream. If you haven't already and you want to see more, you can subscribe on YouTube or follow on Twitch. And if you want to see previous streams I've done, I've got playlists for Blender, Unreal and Unity on my YouTube channel. All the previous game dev streams I've done, so feel free to check it out. Thanks for joining me, guys, and I think it's Saturday now, isn't it? I should be back tonight, or is it Sunday? I've lost track of days. But yeah, I'll be back later. after a sleep. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Ciao, ciao for now.